Okay, so what if I told you that White Settlers is not a slasher film? Like, if you look at a cover like this, like, you would assume that this is a slasher film, right? It has all of these slasher ingredients all in the one package right here. You have your killer holding an axe in the right hand corner, and then you have your final girl front and center of the poster. And then we turn it around and you have a guy wearing a pig mask, and then next to it you have what looks to be our final girl behind some kind of vehicle hiding from the killers. So yeah, this is obviously a slasher film, right? No. White Settlers is not, and I repeat, is not a slasher film. What this film really is White Settlers is a survival thriller, because there's about 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes being very kind, of slasher elements. I'd go as far to honestly say there's less than 10 minutes, even maybe less than 5 minutes actually, of slasher elements in this film. Because what this film is about, if I was to describe it to you guys, I would describe White Settlers as there's these four guys wearing pig masks. They invade on this couple's house and they try to escape. They run into the woods, and then the rest of the movie is these two characters wandering aimlessly in the woods with a couple of cuts and a bloody leg. That's how I would describe this movie to you guys, because that's what happens in this movie. This is not a slasher movie. Like, judging from the look of that cover, you would probably, expect that this might be like a whodunit slash, like who is behind the pig mask and all. That's what I expected. That's not what this movie is about at all. One positive thing I can say about White Settlers is the masks. I do generally like the masks. I do like the look of the killers. I like the significance and the meaning of the mask. That foreigners are pigs and all that. So yeah, I like that symbolism there. I think that's the best thing that this movie has going for it. But there are no kills in this movie. There's one scene where one of the killers gets his face stomped in. That's it. But there's no signature slasher scenes in this film that we come to expect. There's no killer, chasing our final girl for an extended amount of time. There's not a lot of gore in the film. The gore that we do get, it's all practical and it looks great from what you can see. But there's no kills in this film, only because there's a very limited cast here. Like, there's really just two characters. And speaking on the characters, the characterization in this film, like, I'll be kind here, there's enough characterization to make you care. Like, it's this couple that want to start their life over again, and all of that. Like, I can understand all that. I can get behind their motives and their reasoning. So yeah, the characterization is fine. It's a little bit weak once it kind of does kick into A game, and we do get into the more tension and suspense-based sequences. You don't really care. But like, you care because like, these are just your everyday people. They're not harming anybody. They're just kind of leaving to their own and all that. But that's the maximum amount of character development is they want to move and they want to start over their life again. That's it. I mean, I don't give a shit. It's fine for like an independent, like, horror thriller, But I mean, I really could have used more character development in this film to really make me care. Because that brings me into my next point, the tension and suspense. Now, there are two really big things that this film holds on its shoulders. If the tension and suspense doesn't work for you, this whole movie won't work for you. The tension and suspense, it worked in a few scenes, but for the most part, I was just kind of sitting there watching a very dull film. And this is all because the characters, there's nothing that you can really attach yourselves to, that you can relate to, and it just makes our main characters very one-dimensional. And so yeah, there's not, when the horror stuff is going down, you generally just don't care. Like if they get stabbed, I mean, there's no sympathy or like attachment that you've had, because this film, like the first act in particular, it really tries to get you attached to these main characters. Like this is a character story, I would say, at its core. But yeah, characters I do not care about. You know, there's a few gore sequences, you know, that were okay. Could have gone for more of them. Yeah, all of the chase scenes really did not work for me. Yeah, I thought the directing here was fine. What else is there to say? I guess the twist ending, I guess if you can call it a twist, I mean, was fine. But then the ending kind of retcons a lot that was happening in the movie. Like there's one scene when a guy is chained up, and it kind of retcons what this guy was going to do to him. But yeah, so yeah, there's just, even after this movie, there's a lot of questions that I still have. Like, how does this work in with what the ending means? Why is this character here when we last saw him he was like over there? And it's the most simplest questions that this film faults at, that it doesn't give you a good explanation to it. Now I felt like if this film was better in execution, I maybe would have been a little bit more kind to this movie. But as I did say in my last video talking about White Settlers, you know, at least there's a attractive, female actress in this film, and at least there's somewhat of a sex scene / kiss scene in this film. So yeah, that's always cool for a movie like this. So yeah, there is eye candy in here, and the film does kind of narrow down a lot of options to a very small amount, which does heighten some of the tension in some of the sequences in the film. But yeah, the characters, the killers, I'm gonna spoil it right now. You have butt fuck no idea who they are. By the end of the movie, there is no like big reveal and all that. Like who they are based off, I guess, the story that the film is presenting to. Like you can kind of assume, but then that also brings up a whole ton of questions, like how does these group of people know about their arrival to Scotland? And because as far as we know, when they got to Scotland, all they met was there was a retail agent, I believe. That's it. So I mean, there's still like so many questions that if you think about it for like 2 seconds, it makes fuck all no sense. And that's where this film was just frustrating to me, is there's not really a flow in the narrative of this film. But anyways, yeah, I am done talking about this film. This was a film, I had hope for, but yeah, this is not the film that I felt like a lot of people would be expecting. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with White Settlers.